Hey, heads up, we're going to talk about some problematic stuff with a mangaka during this episode, so just a warning that I'm going to have to talk about child prostitution in this episode, so if that sounds like a bummer, you can probably skip ahead a few minutes in. Anyways, ahoy there, and welcome back to DohMance Dawn. What a ominous beginning. I am Luke, he, him, sometimes they, them, and I am joined by my lovely, wonderful, and concerned co-host Janine.
Oh, okay, yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Janine Juliet. My pronouns are she, they, and I don't have a third thing to say.
Yeah, so this is the 98th episode of the podcast. Janine, you know that I've normally had like a bunch of episodes of the podcast outlined before we ever get to them, and this was actually the one where I was like, oh shit, I need to do fresh outlines because I ran out of them. We are covering the Toriko and Dragon Ball Z crossovers with One Piece, and Janine, I assume you have no idea what Toriko is?
Absolutely none at all.
Yeah. So Shonen Jump wanted mangaka Mitsutoshi Shimabukuro to be sort of like the third Heat. He had some series that were popular like in the late 90s, and then he got arrested and was convicted for child prostitution. And
that's
served
terrible.
2 years in prison. Yeah. And then he came back and did Toriko, but it was one of those things that I kind of like hung over the entire time. And weirdly, it is much less of a social stigma than it should be in Japan, child prostitution. Luckily, his last series died on the vine, and doesn't look to be doing anything else, but Shonen Jump really wanted it to be like, oh yeah, everyone knows Dragon Ball Z, everyone knows One Piece, everyone knows Toriko, and nobody really knows Toriko, and there's that big reason why. So we are covering these crossovers that have actually been running for a while, and we've just been skipping over the One Piece episodes, which turned out to coincidentally be helpful. The last of these ran between February 17th through March 31st of the year 2013, but we're going to be covering episode 151 and 99 of Toriko, and then 492, 542 and 590 of One Piece. And like the fact that Toriko starts with a non-canonical filler episode crossing over with One Piece is kind of like how much they're trying to put this thing over.
Wow.
Yeah. Like that is going into the ring and taking down John Cena levels of unearned heat. That's an apt wrestling metaphor, yes?
I mean, I guess so. I don't watch John Cena, so but I'm guessing he's pretty big over there.
I'm just trying to name a wrestler who people would be like, oh, if he gets taken down by like a jobber, that is a real big way to escalate that jobber's standing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we don't have any Simpsons to cover this episode, and it's just going to be a really weird one, so we're going to try and cover the episodes quick, and then we're going to match Toriko characters and then Dragon Ball Z characters. Everyone loves Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is great. R.I.P. Akira Toriyama. All right, the episodes we're covering this week include Arrival on Gourmet Island, the gourmet hunter Toriko appears.
The strongest tag team, Luffy and Toriko's hard struggle.
The reunion of Toriko and Luffy find the seafood fruit.
Team formation, save Chopper.
Rotten's strongest army, Toriko, Luffy, and Goku.
History's strongest collaboration versus Glutton of the Sea.
If you are on Crunchyroll, you can only see the first 2 out of 3 parts of this crossover. If you have Netflix, they have it all bundled up in a collection. And how are you enjoying a month of Netflix, Janine?
I haven't really done too much with it. I mean, well, that's kind of a lie. The only other thing that I've really done with it is watch Delicious in Dungeon.
Yeah.
With my partner.
Mm-hmm.
He's really getting the fuck into it.
The second season of the Ranma 1/2 anime is also up, and it's a blast. Like, I'm watching the dub, and I would recommend it. But I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe you need gender stuff going on to enjoy that. And I don't know if you have any of that, Janine. I don't know. Yeah, but I just wanted to give that heads up. So anyways, I have also not watched any other episodes of Toriko. I tried to watch the first episode on Netflix, and that was when I realized, it's weird about the order. So I'm going into this mostly blind, which is a fascinating thing, because, I'm normally the person who puts in all the time to learn about a series that I know nothing about. I have literally done that on the Play Comics podcast so many times. But here, apparently, if you're soliciting child prostitution, I'm not going to want to engage with your work. Luckily, I think that nobody involved with the actual manga had a hand in this crossover. Anyways, the Straw Hats are out of food and find a strange island, so Luffy, Sanji, Nami, and Chopper go to the island to find food, and they find a forest of trees that are growing all sorts of weird food. Toriko, looks like those off-brand action figures that you used to see, because he's got the Goku orange suit and black boots. It's just he got short blue hair. This is Goku that we have at home. And Toriko and Komatsu, he's off-brand Krillin, really. They find Chopper and they want to cook him until they find out he can talk. Then they get attacked by barbecue pigs, and so Luffy and Toriko work together to knock them out. Back on the ship, the rest of the Straw Hats are starving. Komatsu explains that they are on Hungry La Island, and he and Sanji show off their cooking skills, but then Luffy and Toriko eat all the food. And Toriko wants to go hunt the legendary Hungry La bird, thinking that it is the legendary ingredient on the island. They get attacked by bears, and Toriko explains this whole deal that he won't fight anything that he can't eat. And so they run away, and then they find the Hungry La bird, and even though it is very strong and has armor, Luffy punches it from the sky, and Toriko prays for power and is able to cut through the defenses. Again, they do not explain a lot of stuff. They eat the bird and continue to forget about the rest of the crew. And that evening, as they are eating, Komatsu and Nami are taken away by Kokowalas. On their way to find them, Toriko realizes they can find a multi-fruit, which is apparently a fruit that tastes like every fruit, which seems like a bad idea because there's some fruit that tastes like ass. They run through a chocolate river and then a river of whipped cream, and then they find a pride of cookie lions called Castellios, but they are saved by Sunny, Coco, and Rin, more of Toriko's team, and they tell him that, oh, hey, you can go save your crew. And it's cool, thanks for showing up to join in this fight. They reach the multi-fruit tree, and there is a massive knockout koala, the leader of the Kokowalas, and Luffy and Toriko try to save their friends, but the knockout tree uses the multi-fruit to be stronger, and so Toriko and Luffy defeat it and save Nami and Komatsu, but in the battle, they ended up knocking the multi-fruit off the tree. The mountain they were on turns into a pudding volcano, and it turns out that the legendary ingredient Toriko wanted was the island itself, and all the island turns into food that Luffy and Toriko eat, but luckily Sanji was able to get some ingredients beforehand. This was so slow.
Yeah. Also, I think that probably if you're going to start introducing all of your characters, probably don't throw them all at once during a crossover arc.
Yeah. Or at least find a better way to do it, because there was more content in this than in a lot of like recent One Piece episodes that we've gotten, but like so much of it is a nothing burger. So the second thing, Toriko and Komatsu are fishing with Terry Cloth, who's a big old wolf. They catch a spring shark, and it turns out that Luffy was inside of it. And that was when the Thousand Sunny shows up. Chopper is sick and needs to eat the seafood fruit to cure it, and Toriko knows that they need to go to Chinese Tower Island, and so they go with Frankie, Brook, and Usopp staying back on the ship. With Sanji, they get attacked by Kung Fu Mina birds, and Luffy tells Zoro he can't kill these birds to respect Toriko's rules, and Luffy just takes him out, and then they invite him back, because, it's like what happened with the Kung Fu Dugong. And they go to the temple, and they find out that Chopper, if he turns fully blue, is going to die, and they have the end of the day to cure him. Following the clues, they find where the seafood fruit is, but it is protected by an ex-panda who Zoro says behind a fight again, and then they get attacked by a Mangra ground. It does not make sense as a pun, which grows seafood fruit, and it's like a hydra plant. Chopper gets upset, and Toriko tells him that, hey, even though this tree thing is beating us right now, it'll be worth it when we get to eat together. And they cut the tree down, and Chopper gets to eat the fruit, turns back to normal until he starts to glow red. And it turns out that as the rest of the Toriko cast shows up, they're like, oh, Chopper has deep sea fever and needs not just the seafood fruit, but 4 seasonal fruits. And they're like, oh, what's going to happen? But then they summon the massive titular tower, the Chinese tower, where each floor is a different season. So there's a like chili-faced tiger. There's a like boar with 8 horns. There's a drunken orangutan. And basically they are able to, with some help, get all the ingredients, which includes the bad guy from the series somehow yelling at the orangutan from a different island hundreds of miles away, knocking it out. And then the last thing they needed was a flower to bloom, but then the spring sharks get reflected in the light, and this causes the flower to bloom, and the tower is destroyed, but they have the last ingredient they need, and Komatsu and Sanji are able to cure Chopper. This one at least had some more fun moments to it, but it's also still just like a bunch of random ass stuff.
Yeah.
It's much more, hey, we're going to put the One Piece characters into a Toriko episode as opposed to we're balancing out both of these things. But again, I do not care about Toriko, so let's move on. Yeah. The last part is the one that's actually good. There's a World Martial Eats competition with a bunch of people entering it, and almost all the competitors get eaten by an ant lion, except for the Toriko crew, Luffy, Sanji, Chopper, Frankie, Brook, Nami, and Zoro. And then also Goku is there with Gohan, Trunks, Goten, and Android 18. And it's all a race into a arena, but there's a few different options. And Janine, did you watch the sub or the dub of these?
I watched the dub.
Okay, so you notice how Toriko and Brook have the same voice actor?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird, because sometimes it's not necessarily there, but when he yells, you really hear it. And it's an anime dub in America, so they yell a lot. So anyways, Goku, Luffy, and Toriko go up a cliff, while Sanji, Gohan, Komatsu, and Setsuna go into the woods, and there's a baboon there, and they decide to feed it so they don't have to fight it, and it goes to bed. Rin and Nami go into the desert, where they find Master Roshi and Brook, who do their normal, hey, we're horny. And Frankie chases after Android 18, trying to talk about robot stuff, which is a genuinely very funny bit. And further in the desert, Trunks and Goten fuse into Gotenks, and Chopper tries to convince Sunny to fuse with him, and he refuses. Goku races up to the top of the mountain with Luffy and Toriko close behind, but then King Kai calls Goku, warning him that he needs to fight evil in the universe, and Goku teleports away. And Zoro gets lost and runs into Zebra and Vegeta, and they all start fighting, because, that's their whole bit. As Toriko and Luffy race into the arena, Goku catches up with them, and they all arrive at the exact same time, ending in a tie, so the arena turns into a fighting stage. Mr. Satan, aka Hercule, if you watch the early Funimation dubs, falls into the ring, and it turns into a last person standing match. And so all three of the real fighters get into a big fight, eventually going into their transformation modes, and they destroy all of the arena except for the bit that Mr. Satan is on, and he wins by default and decides to share the meat with everyone. But this was all part of a plan by the IGO organization. The leader of that organization, Mansam, holds a big feast together. Zoro is still missing. That is when Robin, Piccolo, and Coco confront Mansam about his real plan, and it turns out they wanted to summon the Akami, which is a weird fish that will eat everything that it sees, and they hope to defeat it. It does appear and drains energy from Mr. Satan, Usopp, and Gohan when it touches them. And basically we get a bunch of, here's these different groups of heroes trying to fight this thing and then losing. And then at the end, Goku summons a spirit bomb and works with Toriko and Luffy to defeat it. And then they cook it and run out of the animation budget. And meanwhile, we find out that Zoro, Zebra, and Vegeta just kept on fighting. It's the most enjoyable of the parts because I enjoy seeing my friends from Dragon Ball Z, and there's actually like, hey, this is building to something that is at least not trying to seem like a real canonical thing. Like, it takes itself less seriously in a fun way that I appreciate.
Yeah, I do like that there is a good amount of fan service for the Dragon Ball Z. I don't know if I could be able to say the same. It's weird because you can't really, I don't know for Toriko, because you're establishing characters on the first episode in a crossover.
Mm-hmm. It is a weird time. I just remembered I needed to copy a note because it is time to match characters. Yep. Sorry, did you have anything else to add on?
Not really. I mean, I kind of wish I had more to say, but it's just, this really felt like a chore to get through.
Yeah.
Not just because like how much names, but these episodes felt like that they were an ordeal in themselves.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. They are trying to do so much and kind of lose a lot of the charm. And it's just kind of a none of this matters in a way that I think slows it down, but also they want you to really be sold on these characters, but it does not work. There was a really good One Piece and Dragon Ball Z crossover manga event called Cross Epoch, where it's just fully these worlds are mixed up. And I think that was a lot more enjoyable. But yeah, we've got 45 characters. We've got 47 characters to get through, so we should probably get into this thing. How's that sound?
Let's do it.
All right. Up first, we have, and I need to send you the crazy ass document, because when you see this document, you're going to say, Luke, this is a crazy ass document. Also, did you only make one pick for every character? And Janine, yes, I only made one pick for every character. But we also opened it up for anybody to submit in picks. So I hope you are ready for some wild ass picks from recurring power suggesters. So up first we have Toriko. My suggestion was Superman. Who do you have, Janine?
I have Uter Zorker.
Fascinating. Reverse Eye Patch suggested Jack Bauer, and King Atticus suggested Muscular Millhouse, aka Teen Millhouse. I don't want to use Superman or Uter because I do not like Toriko as a character. I'm more aligned with using Jack Bauer.
Huh. Wow. This guy looks exactly like the center point of the anamorph between Buff Millhouse and Jack Bauer. And that is what's really fucking me up, because blue hair, but also
blue hair.
Oh my god.
Actually, I can kind of go with muscular Millhouse.
Yeah, let's go with muscular Millhouse then.
That's one more on the board for King Atticus. All right, up next we have Komatsu, off-brand Krillin. I had Batman. Janine, who do you have for Komatsu?
I had Carl, Homer's assistant in Simpson and Delilah.
I'm pretty sure we've already used Carl. Yeah, Carl is Mary.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to have to fix that.
Hey, we're almost at episode 100, Janine.
That's true.
Reverse Eye Patch had Chloe O'Brien from 24, and King Atticus had Jaffe Zawiski, one of the recurring background characters. I think it would be hilarious if we used Batman here just to piss off people. Because I feel like Chloe O'Brien doesn't really fit if it's muscular Millhouse and Chloe O'Brien. And Jaffe Zawiski is a recurring background Simpsons character, but I'm not necessarily feeling it.
But Batman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you put Batman in and it's funny. I'm cooking with Sanji.
I feel like you could save Batman for something else, but also, I don't want to use these other characters.
All right. So are you ready to go chaos mode, Janine?
Okay.
I have Wiki Simpsons opened up, and I am going to hit the random page button. If it is a character, we can do pass or gas. We've not had that character yet. Wendell Borden definitely falls into the same category. This is less helpful than I was hoping that it would be. Okay, Janine?
Yes.
How about a bottle of 7-Up?
As the character?
Yes.
What is this bottle of 7-Up from?
A 1993 KFC commercial.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. I feel like we can get some brand recognition in here.
I think I would be good with that.
All right. So, a bottle of 7-Up is our Komatsu, and this will be credited to, do we want to thank the Goddess of Chaos, or who should we put the winner under?
Let's just put Chaos.
I am putting it in all caps. Let chaos reign. Up next, we have Terry Cloth. I had Crypto, the super dog. Janine, who do you have for Terry Cloth?
Neil Patrick Hairless.
Hell yeah. Smithers dog.
I think it's actually Moe's dog.
Double checking. Yeah, and Flaming Mo. Yeah, Mo had him. Reverse Eye Patch suggested the Timber Wolf from Marge Gets a Job. It is the one that shows up at the end of Bart's, what's his face? Boy Who Cried Wolf arc. King Atticus suggested Space Coyote, and Devin suggested the white dog that attacks Bart when he meets Buck McCoy. So we've got some good options here. I kind of think that Terry Cloth is perhaps the right level of queer-coded for Neil Patrick Hairless, but just in the opposite direction, where Neil Patrick Hairless is hairless, but Terry Cloth has long, beautiful, flowing, well-maintained locks. Would you agree with that?
I think so.
Do you just want to go with Neil Patrick Hairless?
I do.
Hell yeah. We love to respect Toriko on this show. Up next, we have Sunny. He looks like he wandered into a drag show sponsored by multi-striped toothpaste. My pick was Aquaman. Janine, who do you have?
Because he looks so aqua fresh, I get it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have the age and weight booth man. He's a man who guesses your age and weight.
And he wears a problematic turban. Good job co-opting culture, age and weight booth man. Reverse Eye Patch suggested Gay Brazilian money. Look at all that pink and purple. King Atticus suggested Glamorous Godfrey, though I don't believe Glamorous Godfrey had appeared in the episode that he came from. I really like Gay Brazilian money.
I really love gay Brazilian money.
All right. Oh, whoever is going to draw this cover is going to have a wild ass time. Up next, we have Rin. She has she has wrist like rocket launcher things and big thighs. I had Wonder Woman. Janine, who do you have?
I have a single plum floating in perfume served in a man's hat.
That one took a bit to type. Reverse Eye Patch suggested Cara Diaguardi from American Idol, and King Atticus suggested Jitney Spuckler. We may want to save a single plum floating in perfume served in a man's hat, but I'm going to use Cara Diaguardi because we will not remember her in the future.
And you'd still rather keep all the Spucklers together for now?
Yeah.
I feel that. Okay.
I am excited to see how this shakes up our scores. Up next, we have Coco. He looks like you stole a background character from Naruto. That's the most apt way that I can describe his ass. I had Shazam.
I think he looks like a JoJo that, is in the middle of putting clothes on.
Mm-hmm. He looks like a guy who is trying to wear compression clothes for training, and then he somehow ended up in this series. He's a third of the way to being a green mummy. He looks like a paramedic, or he looks like a surgeon who is also a mummy.
He looks like he just got out of his Snake Man cosplay.
He looks like he does not quite understand how to get sweats that will actually close around the ends, and so he's just tightened up all of those parts that might be too loose.
He looks like he owns a lot of green dye.
He looks like your younger brother tried to design a anime character in a very limited Flash anime character designer game, and his name is Dick Pincher. I don't know. I had Shazam. What do you have?
I have the KBBL Psychic. I don't know what was up with me. I just thought, man, I just want to find some pretty weird looking people and place them on this guy.
I mean, the KBBL Psychic has a great design. That comb over, that goatee, and the necklace. It is a beautiful member of the KBBL family that I have never considered. The Reverse Eye Patch had Simon Cowell, and King Atticus suggested the Young Gun, who is also from an episode that I think may be too early to consider for this one, because it was from the episodes where they were breaking into the lockers, the Glamorous Godfrey episode. Simon Cowell kind of has that vibe.
Yeah, I could go there.
Hell yeah. Good job, Reverse Eye Patch. You are securing your spot on the rankings. Up next, we have everybody's favorite Knights in Satan's Service, Kiss. I had Storm, Aquaman, Seahorse. Because what is a seahorse but a crow of the ocean? Janine, what do you have?
I had Crow Diddley.
Well, Reverse Eye Patch had the Crow Bar. See, they got little stools and everything. King Atticus suggested Early Bird, which is another one that is too soon. And then Devin also had Crow Diddley. I'm going to go with Crow Diddley.
Hell yeah.
We then have Zebra, who looks like if he was a woman, there would be a lot of women who were very into Yuri of him. I mean, that tank top, those white pants, big boots, and then a bunch of scars on your tanned arms and red hair. I know some ladies who would be into a lady who looks like that, especially if they have weird thoughts on eating things. I had Patty Hearst. Who do you have, Janine?
I have Roger, the psychopathic thriller from the killer, Master and Cadaver segment of Treehouse of Horror. God, I forgot to write it down because I thought to myself, I know the Roman numerals.
21.
There we go.
Voiced by Eulore.
That's the one.
Yep, and he definitely should be in Master and Cadaver. And then King Atticus had CJ, the pro-bitter, who is also still not applicable. I like Roger. I don't think I can sway you with Patty Hearst.
I don't think so.
No problem. We are trying to do these at a steady clip. All right, up next we have Zonge! And we are now in the episodes that Dragon Ball Z character showed up in. So now this should be easier. I had Green Lantern. Who do you have, Janine?
I had Dan Quayle.
The Quail Man? From Doug?
No, he's a politician that was inside of a rocket that was going exactly straight towards the sun.
Wow, do you hate this Dan Quayle?
Somebody hated Dan Quayle.
Okay, do you know who Dan Quayle actually was without looking him up?
No!
He was George H.W. Bush's vice president.
I feel good about this decision.
Mm-hmm. He was notable for being the target of the Senator, "You're no Jack Kennedy" line. He is the not a Jack Kennedy. Growing up, my parents had a Dan Quayle joke book of jokes making fun of him. King Atticus had the Ice Bishop of Beverly Hills. I'm kind of good to use the Ice Bishop of Beverly Hills. He's come up a few times. He's got the right sort of barbarian energy. We don't know anything else about Zonge.
I should have known that you were going to put Dan Quayle in the Ooter pile.
I don't think Dan Quayle has the energy of a barbarian.
I think we both know different Dan Quayle, and
yeah, you have the platonic ideal of Dan Quayle in your mind, the perfect Dan Quayle. So can we go with Ice Bishop?
I guess it just really doesn't fit with my Manabu
Sakamaki?
Yeah.
Our next character is Manabu Sakamaki, who was named after a voice actor who worked on the show. My suggestion was The Flash. Janine, who do you have for
Ross
Manabu?
Perot.
Atticus suggested the Enigma from Storage Bitters Myanmar. I think The Flash would be funny to use here. Also, Ross Perot might be funny to use here.
That's why we're going to go with Ross Perot.
Hell yeah. The classic team of Ice Bishop of Beverly Hills and Ross Perot. Okay, it is time for our top debating segment, because Janine, it's time to talk about Son Goku.
Yeah?
My suggestion for Son Goku is Hank Hill. That boy ain't right. Janine, who is your pick for Son Goku?
I felt like you were going to go this direction, so I also went Hank Hill.
Wonderful. Abby, my loving wife, who has not listened to the show and will likely never be on an episode, suggested Blair Waldorf, and then in brackets wrote Go Piss Girl. Jeff, former guest of the show, suggested Dr. Meredith Grey from Grey's Anatomy, who has not appeared on The Simpsons. Reverse Eye Patch suggested Superman from the cover of Action Comics #1. I could not actually find that image, but Superman is an option. And then King Atticus also suggested Hank Hill. So it seems like our Goku is Hank Hill.
Seems like it.
Hey, I finally have a point on the board of this episode. Hooray for Luke. All right, now I am interested to see where the Gohan discussion is going, because there's a few different directions here. My suggestion is Luann Platter, a character who, much like Gohan, is not quite sure the direction that she wants to go. She has some amazing skills and ultimately chooses love and living a more normal life over following some of her passions. Janine, who do you have for Gohan?
For Gohan, I had Robert Butch Hill. For I thought that both of them embody this, direct line from, like, a notable line from a notable father.
Mm-hmm.
But as they both got older, they both went inside of different directions, became their own men.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, I don't know, progress kind of like went backwards after GT was kind of like thrown out, and I haven't seen Super, so I don't know what like the actual timeline for Gohan is, but I don't know, it really reads like exactly how Bobby is, especially Bobby inside of the
original series.
The continuation.
I mean, I think I debated Bobby as well, but I feel like Luann does not get her respect, and in some ways, Bobby is similar to Goten, because that's where I had Bobby. Jeff suggested Zola Gray Shepherd from Grey's Anatomy, who is, again, not eligible for this. Reverse Eye Patch suggested George Plimpton, and Atticus also suggested Bobby Hill. I think that Luann and Gohan both following their own paths in a very specific way and maturing in a way where they don't necessarily need to follow their dad's path because, well, Bobby does not necessarily end up becoming a propane man himself. I think he takes after Hank more than Hank necessarily likes in a way that Luann doesn't, and in a way that Gohan doesn't.
But I think that Bobby and Gohan have a much more different connection towards their fathers that I think that Luann is not able to achieve. I think her arc is complete when she becomes her own person, separate. And I don't see that too much with Gohan. I see that
he becomes a scholar. He lives his mother's dream, not his father's dream.
I mean, in the end, I feel like that pushes Bobby and Gohan closer together.
I would disagree, though. We may need to table this and kind of see how some of these others shape out, maybe. Like, not permanently, but just we go through some of the other names so we don't get caught up on this. Who do you have for Trunks? I had Frankenstein SpongeBob costume.
I had Eric from Mothers I'd Like to Forget.
I do not remember that one. Moms I'd Like to Forget. Oh, okay. He was the cool kid who Bart used to hang out with, who was slightly older. Jeff suggested Eli Stevens from Grey's Anatomy. Reverse Eye Patch suggested the Tamaribuchi heavy manufacturing concern mascot. And King Atticus suggested Lewis. And this may also be one of those things where figuring out our Trunks and Goten may be important because we also have the Gotenks. So do we also want to hold on Trunks for now?
I'm seeing what Reverse Eye Patch is doing, and I want to go all in on it.
All right, yeah. No, I'm willing to go and trust. All right, so we're using the Tamaribuchi heavy manufacturing concern mascot. We then have Goten, and this is where I had Bobby Hale. Janine, who did you have for Goten?
I had Ross, also from Moms I'd Like to Forget. I was working them in a package deal together.
Jeff had Ella Shepherd, who is not viable. Reverse Eye Patch had the Matsumura Fishworks mascot, and then Atticus had Richard. We're going with the Matsumura Fishworks mascot.
Yes, we are.
Okay. I'm willing to, as a matter of your Texas pride, go with Bobby Hill for you, for Gohan.
Awesome.
All right. Up next, we have Android 18. I had Wilma Flintstone, because she's hard as rock and fit as hell and a mother. Who do you have, Janine?
I have Courtney Love.
Interesting. Would you like to expand on that?
Well, I believe that both of them are mothers. I believe both of them are reduced to their marriages, to the men, the important men that they ended up being married to.
Mm-hmm.
I think that both of them have been unfairly vilified, and I think that this is my way to acknowledge and respect and pay tribute to both women.
I think that this is a lot meaner to Android 18 than it is to Courtney Love. Reverse Eye Patch had Carla Tortelli, who we've already used, and Atticus suggested Luann Platter. I want to push for Wilma Flintstone for all the same reasons, but also she's a founding lady of animation.
Could this be related to who you might have as Vegeta?
You mean Krillin?
Yes, Krillin.
Loosely, but I am also very flexible on my Krillin pitch. And I think that pairing Wilma Flintstone with anyone is pretty funny.
Okay.
So I got you for Wilma.
I'll go down for Wilma.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm very familiar that you're
a person who's very turned on by middle-aged women.
Speaking of, we have Chi-Chi next. I had Peggy Hill. Atticus had Peggy Hill. Janine, did you also have Peggy Hill?
I also had Peggy Hill.
Yeah. Jeff suggested Dr. Nick Marsh. Reverse Eye Patch suggested Brooke Shield, and Devin suggested Mother Dexter. It's Peggy Hill. All right. We then have Ox King. I had Ultraman Homer from the Japanese-inspired first couch gag. Janine, who do you have for Ox King?
I have Timothy Lovejoy Sr., Reverend Lovejoy's dad.
I was trying to remember the exact line from Weep with the Spring in Springfield, where they point out that Lovejoy's dad also goes there. Atticus had Dr. Bonebreak. Dr. Bonebreak kind of fits the vibe. I'm not necessarily sure that Timothy Lovejoy does.
I can definitely go with that doctor.
All right. If you haven't realized right now, listeners, I just went with wild picks this time because I've been busy. And I also spent most of the time I would normally pick getting a second set of characters working on this spreadsheet that y'all will probably not see. We then have Videl. We all love Videl. My pick is Teen Sailor Moon Lisa. There's the montage on the Holidays of Future Past where that is her costume. Janine, who do you have?
This is where I threw Luann down.
Interesting. Atticus suggested Nikki McKenna. I believe she was voiced by Sarah Silverman. It would be weird if Bobby was dating his cousin.
Right?
Yeah. And I mean, I'd want to know who you have for Mr. Satan, because Videl is Mr. Satan's daughter.
Who did I put for that? Oh, yeah. Oh, I was really good on that one.
I want to push for Teen Sailor Moon Lisa.
I'm good with that.
All right, let's have less incest on this podcast.
For once.
We then have Good Boo. Janine, I have Bender Bending Rodriguez. Because they both love to party, they both love to consume things, they both have that thing on their horn that allows them to do all sorts of stuff. Who do you have for Good Boo?
I have Crappy the Clunk because I hate this guy.
You don't like Boo?
I don't like Boo.
Sorry, did you say Crappy the Clunk?
Yeah, Crappy the Clunk.
Okay, I'd forgotten about Crappy the Clunk. Why do you not like Boo?
I don't like Boo because the entire arc got really weird.
Mm-hmm.
And the pacing was terrible. And I just got frustrated with the entire series in general. And it was basically like my first stopping off point of anime for a while.
That's fair. I think that it makes more sense if you read Dragon Ball and then Dragon Ball Z, where it is less of this oddball turn and more of just kind of a return to what Dragon Ball kind of had been, where it was more weird and strange. And it is also horrific because Good Boo wipes out most of the Earth. Or Bad Boo wipes out most of the Earth. Reverse Eye Patch had Lisa with gum in her hair, and Atticus had Rasputin, the friendly Russian. I don't necessarily feel like any of those, and I like Boo enough that I don't want him to be saddled with Crappy the Clunk. But I feel like you don't want to use Bender here.
I really don't want to use Bender here.
So you know what it's time for?
What is it time for?
Random page.
Let chaos reign, baby.
Let chaos reign. Julia Roberts.
Yes.
It's the role she was born to play. I'm double checking that. We have luckily not used Julia Roberts again. I feel like I'm having a stroke here. We then have Chaozu. I love this little tiny guy. My suggestion was Maggie Pikachu. Who do you have, Janine?
I have Handsome Pete. He dances for nickels.
Somehow we have not used Handsome Pete. Jeff suggested Dr. Owen Hunt, also from Grey's Anatomy. Abby looked over the list of Jeff's suggestions and was like, yeah, he is going from current seasons of Grey's Anatomy.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I admire the commitment to a bit, but also I can't say more. Reverse Eye Patch had Street Mime Krusty, and King Atticus had Half-Mast. I really like Handsome Pete.
Let's do Handsome Pete.
We can pick Handsome Pete. I don't want to do Handsome Pete.
We're gonna do Handsome Pete.
You're going to do Handsome Pete. We then have Tien Shinhan, the guy who does those comics online, who I used to do that One Piece RPG with. My suggestion was Ash Ketchum from Pokemon. Who do you have, Janine?
I have Dale Gribble.
Interesting. Jeff had Dr. Teddy Altman. Reverse Eye Patch had the Three-Eyed Lobster, and King Atticus had Captain Flag. I feel like we need someone who can go well with Handsome Pete. Three-Eyed Lobster maybe works. Because what do you remember about Tien? Because he does very little in Dragon Ball Z.
I know that in Dragon Ball he was friends with Goku, so I just put Hank's friends as Goku's friends.
Oh no, he was like a major enemy of Goku for a while in Dragon Ball.
Yeah,
like,
but now they're
trained
friends.
by the Crane Master. I feel like Dale has never been that sort of enemy to Hank, though.
Oh no, he has.
But not like when they were growing up. Also, I don't want to use Dale here. I have a later, better suggestion for Dale.
In this episode, or?
Yes, in this episode.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Then let's table this character for now, because I also kind of want to hold on to Three-Eyed Crab.
All right. We then have Dende. Oh, Dende, you're technically God. I had Astro Boy part. Who do you have for Dende?
Tyler, also from Moms I'd Like to Forget. I just had an extra boy I just wanted to use up.
Well, speaking of boys who we'd like to use up, Jeff suggested Dr. Craig Thomas. Reverse Eye Patch suggested the Stonecutter Alien, and King Atticus suggested Actual God. I kind of like Stonecutter Alien.
I love Stonecutter Alien.
Hell yeah. We then have... He's problematic, Mr. Popo. I had Mr. Peabody from Mr. Peabody and Sherman. Who do you have, Janine?
I have Cheesy McMare.
Reverse Eye Patch had Jar Jar Binks, and King Atticus had the Genie from My Pods and Boomsticks, and Devin had the head of the Quickie Mart. I want to push for Mr. Peabody.
I want to push for Cheesy McMare.
Interesting. What are your reasons for Cheesy McMare?
Look how ridiculous this is. Doesn't it detract from the idea that this character is very problematic? Pay attention to the cheeseburger.
Well, what about a talking intellectual dog who time travels and escorts a young child around?
I feel like for both of those reasons, we should probably hold on to that dog. I feel like there's going to be an animal that leads around a child in the future.
Okay, we are going to be like seeing animated food. Should we use Jar Jar Binks here?
Interesting. They both represent things, huh? Is that a Jar Jar or is that a Jim Jar?
That is a full Jar Jar, because comic book guy says, Jar Jar, nobody loves you like I do.
Okay, yeah, let's go with full on Jar Jar then.
It's going to be impossible to figure out the title of this episode. All right. We then have Oolong, everybody's favorite pig man. I had Bill Dotrieve. Janine, who do you have?
I had Spider Pig.
We have not used Spider Pig, which is surprising. Reverse Eye Patch had Larry King, and King Atticus had Pig Clancy Wiggum. Can I give you my reason for Bill Dotrieve for Oolong?
Honestly, I don't think you really need to, because this does hit my connection of this is a character from Hank's past. This is a character from Goku's past. They both kind of like came up together, and from the entire time, both of them kind of represent the physical base needs.
Mm-hmm. And also, they could both make themselves into amazing people, but they just can't do it long enough.
Yeah, I think that works too.
Hell yeah. All right, we have Bulma. I have a crazy-ass suggestion for Bulma, Janine. Philip J. Fry.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Who do you have? It goes in part with my pick for Vegeta. Who do you have, Janine?
I have Peggy Bundy.
Ow. Jeff suggested Dr. Izzy Stevens. And then Reverse Eye Patch and King Atticus had Evelyn Peters from Scenes from a Class Struggle in Springfield. The one where Marge gets the Chanel suit. Oh, and then Devin had Large Marge. I think Fry is objectively a funny idea here, if not also just because this means that Dragon Ball in this universe is Philip J. Fry and Hank Hill going around and having adventures and looking for Dragon Balls with Bill Dotrieve, and we haven't picked our Krillin yet.
I really don't want to.
Alternately, I would be willing to sacrifice my Philip J. Fry here for my pick that I had for Vegeta, which is Taranga Leela.
Cool. I'd really like to hold on to those.
Mm-hmm. I feel like Peggy Bunny is kind of reductionist of who Bulma is, as is Big Titty Large Marge. And Evelyn Peters doesn't necessarily fit what I think of as Bulma.
So we're going to have to go with Dr. Izzy Stevens.
Dr. Izzy Stevens has not actually appeared on The Simpsons, is therefore not a viable option.
Which is so weird that we got that pick.
I know. Are we ready to see if Chaos has something for us?
Sure.
All right. I mean, the first suggestion that we had was Roman, but do you know about Roman?
Roman?
Mm-hmm. The robot monster from Robot Monster. It's a gorilla costume with a fishbowl head.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Classic sci-fi. The problem with the Simpsons wiki is that you can hit the random page, but it will give you any random page and not just a character. And there's stuff that we have not reached yet, and wow, they apparently retconned Stephanie Brockman at some point. I don't think we want to have Mr. Roper from Three's Company.
That is a good choice, though.
It is a fully mad one. We've used Caitlin with a K. We could do Antarctic Researcher 2, who Bart calls and is entering in to whack off. No, we should not have a character trying to whack off in the Antarctic Research Facility, because I'm a prude. I tried to see if the fandom page would do me any better, and it was not. Also, I kept having to open their bar and reset, and that was taking too long.
What if we use Luann here?
Oh, that's a genius idea. A bit ditzy, but very smart at other things. Yeah, no, Bulma as Luann is a great idea. And luckily, this episode will be cut down, so that no one needs to hear how long it took to get that. All right, we then have Bikini, Bulma's mom. I had Gotcha Man Marge. Who do you have for Bikini?
I had a package deal with Dr. Brief, Mr. and Mrs. Zorker.
Mr. and Mrs. Zorker and their son Toriko.
That's right.
Atticus had the equally no, we're not using these characters suggestion of Bernice Hibbert. Since we also, I guess, have Dr. Brief on the line, Atticus suggested Dr. Hibbert for Dr. Brief, and I had Fat Scotty for Dr. Brief. I mean, what pairing is more ridiculous than Fat Scotty and Gotcha Man Marge? But somehow Bikini and Dr. Brief make it work.
I think I could go with that, mostly because I want to see Dr. Brief and Fat Scotty. Like, that's the same person in my head.
Fair enough. Up next, we have Puar, the cat who can transform. I had Garfield, like from the newspaper strip. Janine, who do you have for Puar?
I had the Esquilac.
Hell yeah. Reverse Eye Patch had Oyster Lucy, and Atticus had Mr. Snookums, Moe's cat, and Marge We Trust. I think Oyster Lucy is a ridiculous pick that I kind of do love. It's an oyster that looks like Lucille Ball.
Yeah.
And it's sold at a roadside stand. Are you convinced with Oyster Lucy?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think they both provide the same function in stories.
We then have Yamcha. Let's find out who Yamcha's Oyster Lucy is. I had Sherman from Peabody and Mr. Sherman, which I think I just started moving things around and forgot that Yamcha should not be paired with Mr. Popo. Who do you have, Janine?
I had Boomhauer.
I feel like Yamcha has a much lower rating of scoring with women than Boomhauer does. And that's remembering that we have the episodes where we see how many times Boomhauer strikes out before he finds a woman who falls for his charms. Jeff had Dr. George O'Malley, who again has not been on The Simpsons. Reverse Eye Patch had Daryl Strawberry. King Atticus had Pen Pal Mo, and I think Devin wanted to put Pikachu as his pick, but there was some weird stuff that happened with spreadsheet transfers over. His pick for Puar, but I think that Oyster Lucy is better than Pikachu. I mean, I think we could use Daryl Strawberry here.
Yeah, let's do Daryl Strawberry as Yamcha.
All right, we then have Yajirobe. Oh, Yajirobe, will you ever win? I had Gilligan from Gilligan's Island. Who do you have, Janine?
I have Al Bundy.
So you were pairing Bulma and Yajirobe to get...
I'm not bound by canon.
Jeff had Dr. Miranda Bailey, who again is not viable. Reverse Eye Patch had Norm Peterson. Norm! And then Atticus had Caveman Mo. I'm going to use Norm Peterson here.
I'm not.
Are you Uter-filing Norm?
I'm very protective over the Cheers cast.
Aha. I mean, Yajirobe is a pitch hitter. He's just very unmotivated to actually do anything with his powers.
And I think the same could be said about Caveman Mo.
You want to just use Caveman Mo?
Yes.
All right. We then have Corin, the cat who maintains Corin's tower. I had Scooby-Doo. Who do you have, Janine?
I had Coltrane.
Well, Jeff had Dr. Benjamin Warren, who again, not usable. Reverse Eye Patch had Cliff Clavin, and then King Atticus and Devin also had Coltrane. So I'm good to go with Coltrane.
Hell yeah.
It is getting to be a long one. Okay, we then have World Tournament Announcer. This is where I had Dale Gribble. You never see World Tournament Announcer without his glasses. He is a big friend of Goku and a big supporter of Goku who has a rich inner life and a deep distrust of the government because he has seen aliens. Who do you have, Janine?
Roy Firestone?
From Sports Spew with Roy Firestone?
Yep.
Reverse Eye Patch had Steve Allen, inventor of the Pog, and Atticus had Kent Brockman. I think Steve Allen would be honored to be World Tournament Announcer.
Yeah, I could go with Steve Allen.
And then that means that I'm going to go with Dale Gribble for Tien.
Awesome.
All right, we then have Man Sam. I had Hawkman. Who do you have, Janine?
Whoa, this is where I have to turn the page over. Fit Tony.
Oh, sorry. Devin's sheet somehow copied over weird. Devin had baseball announcer from Boys of Bummer for his, but I think that Steve Allen is a better one. You had Fit Tony
Yes,
before he became fat.
that's true.
And then Atticus had Larry Dalrymple, but we have actually used that Larry, I believe, before they gave him his last name. I want to push for Hawkman just because I have not gotten any superheroes on the board and no one cares about Hawkman. And if you look at the word Hawkman and Man Sam and you squint your eyes until they're closed, they both look the same in the dark. They both feel the same in the dark.
What the fuck does that mean?
I know, right?
Have your Hawkman, if it means that much to you.
Hawkman to a Man Sam spit on that thing. All right. It's time for Mr. Satan. I love Mr. Satan. I love that initially they called him Hercule, and then they just never addressed the Mr. Satan on his clothing. Are you ready to hear my wild pick?
Sure.
Jay Sherman, the critic. Who do you have, Janine?
I had Jack Black from the cover of Kung Fu Person in Angry Dad the movie, where he looks like a person, like a Caucasian five-fingered person.
Reverse Eye Patch had Joe Frazier, and Atticus had Flanders Devil. I feel like Jay Sherman is the funniest one that we have here.
I disagree. I think it's Jack Black.
Let me see this Kung Fu Person. Okay, I'm going to put him down as Kung Fu Person for clarity. In quotes, Jack Black. Yeah, you're right. That is a funnier pick. All right, it's time for the great Krillin debate. Let's see who is going to be married to Wilma Flintstone. Are you ready, Janine?
Sure thing.
My suggestion is Fred Flintstone. Who do you have?
Oh, I had Bill.
Bill Dauterive,
Yeah,
who we have already used.
we have.
Yeah, he's Oolong.
That's right. Just today we did that.
Jeff suggested Dr. Christina Yang. Reverse Eye Patch suggested Jay Sherman. Atticus suggested Dale Gribble. And Devin suggested Dennis Kucinich.
I'd be good to go with Dennis Kucinich.
You know what? Let's go with it. Let's let Devin have another point on the board. We then have Marin, Krillin's daughter he had with Android 18. I had Pebbles Flintstone. Who do you have?
I have the Girl Scout that's trying to sell Girl Scout cookies and Pie Man Pizer. God, I forgot to get the title of that episode.
Let's see. Pie Man Pie is the Girl Scout. Yeah, she's just listed as a Girl Scout.
Yeah.
And then Atticus had Nina Skolka. I mean, Pebbles is a baby, and I think it's funnier if Fred Flintstone has been cucked by Dennis Kucinich.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
What are we doing here? We then have Piccolo, everybody's favorite Namekian, unless you got weird picks. This is by Boomhauer. Who do you have, Janine?
I have Nick Fury.
Interesting. Jeff had Dr. Jackson Avery. Reverse Eye Patch had Leonard Nimoy. And Atticus also had Boomhauer. I forget if we've seen your we've seen your Boomhauer pick here. Can we convince you of Boomhauer for Piccolo?
I really don't want to.
Could we dive more into that feeling?
It's not cool.
You don't think Boomhauer is cool enough or Piccolo is cool enough?
I don't think Boomhauer is cool enough.
Okay. How about MC Hammer?
Okay.
There we go. We then have Setsuno, who is another Toriko character. She's an old lady. I had Rhoda from Batman and Rhoda. Who do you have, Janine?
I had Edwina, the old lady that Abe had an affair with in the UK.
Atticus had Beatrice Simmons. I'm good to use Edwina.
Hell yeah.
We then had Master Roshi. He's an old pervert. I had Iron Lung, the Hans Moleman and the Iron Man parody. Who do you have?
Bill Cosby.
Christ. Jesus, Janine.
Man.
Am I right?
Jeff had Dr. Richard Weber. Reverse Eye Patch had Jerry Lightfoot McGee, the NFL's oldest surviving player. And then Atticus had Bill Dauterive here. I don't want to use Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby's got to be used somewhere. And what better place than calling out a very problematic anime figure?
I don't think Master Roshi would ever use roofies on a woman.
I think he would 100% do that. He's done very bad things before.
Do we need to cancel Yes, we need to cancel. What are the full lines of Master Roshi's crimes? How many women are buried on his island? I think we're my brain is raising a lot of questions that I do not want to figure out the answers to right now. I want to push for Jerry Lightfoot McGee. We will find a horrible person for Bill Cosby.
Yeah, we have. It's Master Roshi right here. He does not deserve a single ounce of respect. I've seen the source material. I know how terrible he is.
But do you want to say that Bill Cosby has mastered the Kamehameha wave?
Yes. Why do you think nobody wanted to cancel him for so long? They respected that.
So the Kamehameha wave is essentially the same level of respect as the Cosby Show?
Yeah.
God, I do not feel comfortable using Bill Cosby here. Yeah. Somehow Bill Cosby is the breaking point for problematic character casting. I cannot explain further why.
Luke is throwing down the X card on Bill Cosby.
Yes. I am looking up Simpsons and Dirty Old Man, and unfortunately we do not have access to Herbert the Pervert yet from Family Guy. Thankfully, we don't have access to Herbert the Pervert from Family Guy. And then the other ones they have are Chester J. Lampwick and Hans Moleman. Can we just toss Iron Lung here?
Sure.
All right. We then have Gotenks. I had Scratch Bob Itch Pants. Who do you have, Janine?
I had Bart Simpson Jr. When in Bart Gets an F, he has a daydream that he's been held back so many times that he's in his own kid's classroom.
Oh, shit. I had also missed that Devin had Diamond Joe Quimby, but we are not using full Diamond Joe Quimby on Master Roshi. Yeah. Bart Simpson Jr. is a good one. Reverse Eye Patch had Mr. Sparkle, and King Atticus had Male Golem. We're going with Mr. Sparkle.
We're going with Mr. Sparkle, yes.
All right, we then have King Kai. I love how King Kai just randomly shows up in this episode. I had Art Spiegelman. Who do you have, Janine?
I had Jim Belushi.
Interesting. Jeff had Dr. Catherine Fox. Reverse Eye Patch had George C. Scott. Atticus had Peggy Hill here, and Devin had Alligator with Sunglasses.
I'm good to go with Alligator with Sunglasses.
Yeah, it is a powerful pick. We then have Bubbles, the monkey that lives on King Kai's planet. I had Pikachu. Who do you have, Janine?
I had Goodnight Gorilla.
A very good pick. Atticus had Millhouse's Capuchin Monkey from Home Sweet Home Diddly Dum Doodly. I'm looking up Goodnight Gorilla just because I want to see that Goodnight Gorilla. Okay, it's Goodnight Escaped Gorilla. Wait, what? No, because that was in Treehouse of Horror 33. I see. In Bart Gets a Z, that is where Goodnight Gorilla is. So, okay. You know me, I like to be thorough. Yeah, I'm good to use Goodnight Gorilla.
Hell yeah.
We're at the point where we're almost done, and I am tired. We then have Tina. She's from Toriko. She's stereotypical news lady. I had Supergirl. Who do you have, Janine?
I had the female interviewer from Bride of Bigfoot.
Oh, Devin had also had Mr. Teeny for Bubbles, but he did not specify which Mr. Teeny, and we've already used 2 Mr. Teenies. Now, I believe I have caught up on all of Devin's picks, and they are correctly aligned for the rest of this. King Atticus had Lori from Entertainment Tonight, and Devin had Jon Stewart, the man who knows where all the hot air is. I think Jon Stewart's a funny pick here.
Let's do Jon Stewart.
Not the Green Lantern. All right, we then have Krupo, who is Tina's bird, I guess. This is where I had Early Bird. Who do you have, Janine?
Raymond Bird.
Hell yeah. Jeff had Dr. Alex Karev, who again is from Grey's Anatomy. And then the only other one that we had was Blinky, or Birdfish Blinky from To Cur with Love. And then Devin had Stuart the Duck, but we have already used Stuart the Duck. Birdfish Blinky is kind of like a great freak. But also, Raymond Bird has an emotional connection. Do you have a preference between those two, Janine?
I'd rather go with Raymond Bird. I'd rather hold on to our freak. I feel like there's going to be some freaks in the future.
All right. We then have Vegeta. What's his power level say? It's Taranga Leela. Who do you have, Janine?
I had Jay Sherman.
Beautiful. Okay. This is the one where Jeff had Dr. Alex Karev. I'm getting tired here. Reverse Life Patch had LeBron James, and Devin had Lucius Sweet. I want to push for
Jay Sherman.
Leela.
Yeah.
Taranga
Jay
Leela.
Sherman is a really good idea.
Okay, but Janine, imagine Taranga Leela and Luann Platt getting together.
Jay Sherman and Vegeta are both from another world. They're both short. They're both very angry.
Yeah, no, I'm going to use Jay Sherman for Vegeta.
Hell yeah.
All right. And then we have Whis, one of our last two, who I'm less familiar with Whis and Beerus because they came in after Dragon Ball Z ended, and they only show up in these episodes on like a single card during the credits. I had Alan Moore here. Who do you have, Janine?
I had the Earthland Wizard.
Earthland Realms Wizard?
Yes.
Reverse Eye Patch had Kathy Lee Gifford, the like human one from when Bart and Lisa are falling through the channels. I want to know who your Beerus pick is, because mine is Stan Lee.
Oh, Yami Yugi.
We used Yami Yugi.
Oh, we have?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, he is our Basil Hawkins. Reverse Eye Patch suggested Regis Philbin for Beerus, and then Devin had Fuzzy Bunny for Beerus. I think that Regis and Kathy Lee are kind of hilarious.
I do too. Live action Regis and Kathy Lee. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. That is all of them. Our Toriko's Muscular Millhouse, our Komatsu is 7-Up Bottle, our Terry Cloth is Neil Patrick Careless, our Sunny is Gabe Rizzoyan Money, our Rend is Cara Diaguardi, our Coco is Simon Cowell, our Kiss is Crow Diddley, our Zebra is Roger from Master and Cadaver, our Zonge is Ice Bishop of Beverly Hills, our Manabu Sakamaki is Ross Perot, our Son Goku is Hank Hill, our Gohan is Bobby Hill, our Trunks is Tamarabuchi Heavy Manufacturing Concern mascot, our Goten is Matsamura Fishworks mascot, our Android 18 is Willow Flintstone, our Chi-Chi is Peggy Hill, our Ox King is Dr. Bonebreaker, our Videl is Teen, Sailor Moon Lisa, our Good Boo is Julia Roberts, our Chiaotzu is Handsome Pete, our Tien Shin Hand is Dale Gribble, our Dende is Stonecutter Alien, our Mr. Popo is Jar Jar Banks, our Oolong is Bill Dotrieve, our Bulma is Luann Platter, our Bikini is Gotchaman Marge, our Dr. Brief is Fat Scotty, our Puar is Oyster Lucy, our Yamcha is Daryl Strawberry, our Yajirobe is Caveman Mo, our Corn is Coltrane, our World Tournament announcer is Steve Allen, our Man Sam is Hawkman, our Mr. Satan is Kung Fu Person Jack Black, our Krillin is Dennis Kucinich, our Merit is Pebbles Flintstone, our Piccolo is MC Hammer, our Satsunu is Edwina, our Master Roshi is Iron Lung, our Gotenks is Mr. Sparkle, our King Kai is Alligator with Sunglasses, our Bubbles is Goodnight Gorilla, our Tina is Jon Stewart, our Krupo is Raymond Bird, our Vegeta is Jay Sherman, our Wits is Kathy Lee Gifford, and our Beerus is Regis Philbin. Micro Machines. Was that impressive?
Sure, yeah.
Well, you know what the most impressive thing is going to be now, Janine?
What's that?
Oh, I am going to put these new values on the sheet. So we now have covered over 950 characters.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
We're almost at 1,000.
Yes. And we have a change in the rankings of who has gotten the most ranked. So, number 1 is Luke with 524. Number 2 is Janine with 384. Devin has 30. Reverse Eye Patch has 24. And Atticus has 15. After that, it is Claire with 13, Eric and Ing with 10 each, and then Rodrigo, Jordan, Sammy, and Mike P with 7 apiece. And then Kaylee, Jeff, that one welder guy, Flighty, Dylan, Ken, Ben, Vex, Andie, Kris, Eugenia, Edward E, Dalton, Alex K, Davey, Jogproof Wombat, Lexi, and Ator. We are almost at 1,000! So, Janine, do you know what happens next episode of the podcast?
What happens the next episode of the podcast?
We're back to recording normal stuff, and I'll probably need to watch the episodes and work on these sheets more while I am on a trip and then on vacation. But hey, also, I think by the time this goes up, I'll be heading to Santa Fe and then Albuquerque, so I will go and have some reviews from the Albuquerque isotopes.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, indeed. DohMance Dawn is a semi-weekly podcast. This means that we update every other week. I am Lou. You can find me most places online as at Coltreg. That's KOLTREG. Janine, where can you be found?
You could find me on the internet at Blue Sky at JanineJuliet.bisky.social and on Instagram, Janine is dope. I also do another podcast, Wrestle Girlies with Flighty Buttlass, and you can find that wherever you find podcasts.
Our podcast this week was edited by Andie, who I am sorry that you had almost 2 hours of absolutely insane stuff to listen to and edit. And then our cover this week is by Kris Dobbins. You can find most places at Kris Dobbins Art. That's Kris with a Kris. DohMance Dawn updates every other week. You can find our website at DohManceDawn.com. If you'd like to keep the show running, I have a Patreon, but I think, again, we might kind of be getting to the point where not too long after episode 100, we might be wrapping up just because this show is getting long and there's so much more to cover. But if you'd like to show your support, leave us a review. Make sure to tag us when you recommend the show to people. Help us to see some increases in numbers of folks listening to the show. Because that's the best way to let us know that it means something to you and that, it is worth us continuing on. Because otherwise, Janine and I will just keep having these conversations but not record and edit and produce covers and stuff for them. Because, Janine, we're just going to keep watching One Piece, right?
I'm so invested at this point that I feel like I just got to keep on going.
Yeah. And, we're almost getting to that weird period where Simpsons was really good for a while again. And yeah. So if you enjoy this weird voyage that we're on, look for the Patreon under my name, Luke Hare, and see about chipping in a few dollars or recommending it to your friends or what have you. All right, that is all. I've been talking for almost 2 hours solid. So I'm going to stop here. See you in 2 more weeks. Smooth sailing.